the Executive Director of Power Northeast, speak to us.
Hello, everybody. So we're going to start with a chant, and I want you to follow me. It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and support each other.
We must love and support each other.
We've got nothing to lose but our chains.
We've got nothing to lose but our chains.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and support each other.
We must love and support each other.
We've got nothing to lose but our chains.
We've got nothing to lose but our chains.
Because where we are right now, in this moment, at this time, is on the precipice of losing the basic freedom that once existed, at least for most white people. And that, my friends, is truly scary. Because we all know when the rights of white people are eroded, that bodes very badly for those of us who don't fit into the box of what being American and apple pie looks like. Because in this country, your access to freedom has always depended on your country of origin, your race, your gender identity, your sexuality, and the faith you practice. I want to speak honestly for a minute, especially with my white brothers and sisters here today. Whether you are gay, lesbian, or straight, cisgender, gender fluid, trans, or non-binary, this is meant, what I'm about to say to you is meant in the fiercest kind of love. The kind of love that tells the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So we can plan together, so we can build together, so we can fight together, and eventually win together. Before Trump, if you were white, you were mostly able to live your life unencumbered by experiencing or understanding systemic oppression. You could live without fear that you could be shot or suffocated by the police, or stopped on a highway for not putting on a turn signal and suicided 3 days later, or rounded up in detention centers. Before Trump, white people could have a policy disagreement and disagree and live to fight for another day. And the level of discomfort, though it existed, did not steal your joy. And you could bury your head in the sand for most issues because they weren't your issue. And so, black people were disproportionately imprisoned, and don't nobody dare bring up this bullshit about black on black crime, because white on white crime is a reality, and Latinx on Latinx crime is a reality. So, black folks were disproportionately imprisoned, and drag queens were beaten outside bars. And undocumented folks weren't given a path to citizenship. And Jewish folks started to pretend they were just white. And Muslim folks had to scramble to create friendship dinners in order to break bread with white people to prove they were human. But in the months since Trump ascended to the presidency, white people everywhere are waking up to the realization that under a fascist regime, whiteness, when unaccompanied by overt white supremacy like we saw in Charlottesville, will no longer have the power to protect your life. I want to repeat this one more time to my white brothers and sisters in the struggle. Understand very clearly what is at stake, not just today, but every day until we win, until we vanquish this demonic, dangerous, destructive regime. Woo! There will come a point that whiteness, as you currently experience its benefits, unaccompanied by overt white supremacy, like we saw in Charlottesville, will no longer protect your life. It won't protect the life of your families, or your friends, or your neighbors who believe in justice, even only theoretically. The day will come, and you may not want to hear this, when the fascists in power will clearly ask white people to make a choice. And you will have to choose to either keep your privilege by ignoring their hate and signing on to their commitment to destroy the very rule of law and render those of us who aren't white, cisgender, heterosexual citizens enemies of the state. Sometimes you lose sight of what you are called to be in the world. And sometimes you awaken to what you are called to be in the world in the middle of struggle. I'm here because I believe in the multidimensional consciousness I choose to call God. You may choose to call it love or science. I don't really give a shit what word you call it. It's called connective tissue that binds us all together, here and now, now and forever. Yes. And the experiences I have had have provided the clarity for me to keep showing up, to keep bearing witness, to keep telling the hard truths we all need to hear. So I want to say something that's probably not popular in our group. I don't want to demonize Trump and his hateful followers who are intent on creating a path to ethnic cleansing in this country. They are intent on creating an all-white supremacist nation, not simply an all-white nation, because they don't want y'all either. I don't want to demonize them, because when we demonize them, we minimize our ability to trust. And in the absence of believing you can trust, you end up trusting nobody. And lack of trust sows a path for ego. And where there's ego, there's space for the forces of hate that thrive and flourish on hate to refuel again and again and again. Yes. Let me be clear, my friends. I am not here to tell you to turn the other cheek and disempower yourselves. What I am here saying is that though they tried to sell us a neutered Nordic Jesus that runs counter to the revolutionary Jewish enemy of the state that threw the money changers out of the temple and told the people in power that just performing religion in public had absolutely nothing to do with spiritual leadership. It had nothing to do with the true moral leadership that Christ enacted in public by standing in the streets of Palestine saying Samaritan lives matter, lepers' lives matter, prostitutes' lives matter. The revolutionary Christ I serve as a Buddhist tells us in every story, and let me be clear, I don't think you have to believe that it is a fact to understand the meaning of the story. He tells us that the lives of those closest to the pain matter. Cornel West says justice is what love looks like in public. And today we stand here together enacting and embodying love. We stand here together enacting and embodying love for our trans brothers and sisters, for our Muslim brothers and sisters, for our Jewish brothers and sisters, for black folks and brown folks all over this city, all over this valley, all over this state, all over this nation. So when the President of the United States of America decides that he needs to sign bills that label people as problems, we have to fight back. Yes. We have to stand up. Yes. We have to make our voices heard. Yes. Yes. And I want to ask you some questions. Is it okay with you that this man in the White House labels transgender people a problem? No. Is it okay with you that this man in the White House labels Muslims a problem? No. Is it okay with you that he says people who protest hateful people who are anti-hate, anti-fascism are a problem? No. This is the man who runs the largest superpower in the world, and he's making Korea a problem. Is that okay with you? No. Is it okay with you that this man who the majority of this country did in Charlottesville, where Heather Heyer gave her life for truth and justice and the American way. I looked up the word problem in the dictionary because I'm a black, queer, female immigrant, and I'm like that. I'm a nerd like that. And problem is difficulty, trouble, worry, or complication. Problems, to paraphrase the words of Sheriff Morris, complicate, question. Problems are something or someone to fix, something or someone to undo, like trans rights, like civil rights, like immigration rights, like the right to not be disproportionately targeted by the police in Lehigh County because you are black and brown and male. And the over-policing of our communities has resulted in 666% higher rate of black men and 132% of Latino men in Lehigh County jail than their share of the population. Suck those numbers in. Black men and Latino men are overrepresented, 666% and 132% in Lehigh County jail. And I'ma tell you, I remember that hashtag from Twitter, criming while white. It's not because white people don't create crime. So, this is not an accident, people. Just like what Trump did the other night wasn't an accident. We must be clear about where our country, imperfect and flawed to begin with, is now going. The president who is willing to pardon a convicted bigot for no reason other than they share the same white supremacist views is the president who, I am clear, is willing to start rounding up and imprisoning our black and brown undocumented brothers and sisters, though not the undocumented workers from Canada or Russia. And he will not hesitate in rounding up those of us in the LGBTQ community as a model for how he will pack us all up on trucks and send us to concentration camps. Stay with me, my friends. So Trump is making problems out of every one of us. It's clear now that Audre Lorde's words in 1982 are still true. None of us lead single-issue lives. Focusing on our single issues has allowed our brothers and sisters in the trans community to be both invisible and targeted in the world we live in. This ban is no surprise. It's a wake-up call if you decide to hear it. Trump pardoning Arapaio has given white supremacists a free get-out-of-jail card. It's time for us to understand that organizing and protest is not a hobby. It's a mission. I woke up this morning knowing unequivocally that all of our lives are on the line. This is the time that will truly determine who our allies and accomplices really are. So white privilege is actually on the chopping block. It's time for our communities to look inside our hearts and root out the things that divide us, the things that make us small, the things that keep us from being our best selves. Together, we need to look at the people Trump calls problems and see possibilities. We need to look at the people he calls problems and see hope. We need to look at the people he calls problems and begin to see the pathway to Martin Luther King's dream being carved from our determination, our faith, our trust in one another, because we will win together or not at all. I'm clear in this moment. It's all of us or none of us.
All of us or none of us.
All of us or none of us. All of us or none of us. All of us or none of us. From the deepest recesses of our collective mind here today, wrapped in the fierce tenderness of divine energy that exists in every particle of your being, we are clear. No human being is illegal. Black lives matter. Trans and LGBT rights matter. Women's rights matter. Science is science. Love is love. Thank you.
about Black history in the U.S. and while whites convicted of felonies were incarcerated 38%